Hello, my friends, and welcome back to Where Wendy Travels, Where Wendy Creates. Today, I thought we would go ahead and do a couple of mixed media junk journal pages. So I have different things out on the table. I thought we would go ahead and do a couple of pages with texture. I've gone ahead and created with one 8.5 by 11 sheet folded in half. Another one, I scalloped the edges and I did a zigzag stitch down both sides so that we have beautiful pockets. When this is put into the junk journal, you'll have the pocket here, the pocket here, the pocket here, the pocket here. However, I'm thinking this baby still looks a little bit boring. So I thought we could go ahead and frou-frou it up a little bit and see what kind of textures and colors we could go ahead and put with this. We could do extra pockets with a tea bag. Are you a tea drinker? Are you a coffee drinker? Try and add some of your favorite things inside. Anything that we can put inside that can be extra journal space, that can give extra design to it is definitely a plus. So if we look at these colors, this one kind of pulls in the pinks. So we could do some pink hearts up here, or maybe we're looking more at the earthy tones down here on the card. Just anything to go ahead and enhance. So let's pop a couple on here and then we'll go over for a couple of different ideas as well. So if you have a punch or you cut out shapes, these shapes, if you staple them, they can be opened up to be hidden journal spots. If you stitch or glue around the side, maybe with a little bend in the middle, you can create a pocket that can hold a ticket or a piece of memorabilia. Or you can simply glue it on for an extra place to journal in a different color that gives depth and dimension to your junk journals, so that it gives your owner of the junk journal, whether that's you or you're gifting it to someone or you're selling them on Etsy or Craft Fair or any of the online stores, this is a good way to add extra pieces, extra dimension. You've got a little bit of texture there with the different items, and they can then journal in those spots. So there's lots of other ways that we can add some color. We can also make it a tea bag, and tea bags are great because they're actually double pockets. If you sew around here, you have the inside pocket of the tea bag and you have behind the tea bag for extra little things that you can put in and hide. So we'll use a couple of those today. You can also just do plain cardstock tags, pop them in here. I do like putting some ribbon on them so you have that depth, the dimension. People can use their own ribbons. You can just use burlap twine, or you can use various different things to create your strings for your tags, just to give our hands something to play with as we're looking through the journal. We like to touch. And that's what I do on my craft shows. I haven't been holding many craft shows the last couple of years, but when I do, I tell everyone, touch, feel, play. If I can't get these journals in their hands, if I can't get them flipping through the pages, then I'm not going to sell this journal to anyone. So I want them to touch, feel, play with the journals, flip through the journals. If they're not textural and feel good, no one's going to purchase them. So I do like when people handle my journal, my quilts, my different things that I'm selling. Now I know a lot of people don't, so don't ever touch anything someone else has unless they give you permission to do so, or you're doing it with clean hands with the air of making the purchase. Now, a lot of you, my friends, will also tell me, well, Wendy, I don't want people flipping through these things, getting their ideas, and stealing the ideas. Well, my friends, that's the way I do it. You're going to have, 10% of the people want to make one themselves. 10% of the people actually would love to buy it themselves. And then you have another 30%. They're just curious, wasting time, and they will flip through it. However, if I get these people in my booth, my friends, if they enter my booth, they're going to bring attention to my booth, and other people naturally just want to come in my booth because other people are there and they don't want to miss out on whatever the other people are seeing. So, always a good idea to invite people into your booth, get them in your booth, get them touching, get them feeling, get them experimenting. Now that looks absolutely beautiful. Now I opt to sew on mine, but if you don't have a sewing machine readily available, use a stapler. There's no harm, no foul to this. And the purchaser, you can let them know that you use staples, so they don't hurt their fingers or whatever they're going to claim they're going to do, because we can use any medium we choose to sew down. And I don't have it threaded, so let me thread that, and then we'll sew this up so you can see what I have. But sewing is a nice way to add extra texture on, whether it's doing a functional purpose or just a visual or textural purpose. It doesn't have to be functional stitches. Stitches are absolutely beautiful, whether you're stitching for a function that you need to lock something down into place, or you're just stitching because it looks really cool. Now again, I did a zigzag stitch over here. What I'm going to do on this is just a straight stitch, and because I am sewing through cardstock or paper plus fabric, I'm going to have it on a wide length of stitch, because this is not going to get sewn, it's not going to be worn. It's a junk journal. It has to hold up the test of time. We're flipping those pages, loving on it with our fingers, and going on. But it does not have to be washed, so therefore I can have a looser stitch length on my sewing machine to stitch it down. All right, so now we have taken 2 8.5 by 11 pieces and created into some beautiful junk journal. Now, what I like to do on the junk journals is I'll take an old book and I will rip out pages that maybe I've gotten that book from Grandma and I've read it a million times. I don't need it any longer. Or I've purchased it at a library that is going to be tossed out and they're trying to raise money. I also took an 8.5 piece of cardstock and I just tore around the edges, put it in the middle. Then you can take a normal sheet of typing paper. You can tear it at the top, rip it so it looks like it's old and tattered. And these make great pages inside of our junk journal as well. So you have some pockets, some stiffer pages, some thinner pages, and you can do different things with these pages as well. If you feel like no one's going to be able to write on that page, you can put another white pocket on here, sew it on 3 sides, or just another sheet of paper. Use this as your foundation. This is not, I actually think this came out of a magazine, it looks like, out of a quilting magazine. So again, use these pages, upcycle, recycle, create something beautiful, and you can put washi tape, you can do cutouts, you can do tea bags, and look at this, my friends, even doilies. You get a clean doily or you buy a package of doilies and you can put it anywhere you want in your junk journal. Just fold it in half, pop it in there, and that actually works as another page. So just some tips and thoughts. Let's go ahead and do another one. So those are 8.5 by 11 pages. Now this is my 12 by 12 cardstock for scrapbooking. It's white on one side. It's just heavier than paper, but it's maybe 20 bound. I'm sure it's not 40 bound. I need to rough up on that. But we can take it down to the size of page that we're going to have for our junk journal. And we can measure it off, which is the 8.5. I don't have a ruler out, so I'm just using the previous page. So we want it roughly 8.5. I'm good with my pages just being slightly longer, slightly shorter. And you see what I did with that? I took that 12 by 12 sheet, I folded over the bottom, and now I can fold it in half again. Now this one we want relatively straight. Just push down with your fingers to press that. And now if I sew on this edge and I sew on this edge, I have two beautiful pages of my scrapbooking paper that we can add anything and everything to. But I have created two pockets. So now how do I sew those up? I can stitch them, I can glue stick them, I can use any kind of glue that I have, or we can add something on the side. I have this old ribbon that I purchased at a yard sale, and someone has actually gone through this ribbon and connected 1, 2, 3 pieces together, put it with heavy starch so it's thicker, and created this beautiful ribbon. And then for whatever reason, they never completed their project. So we are going to go ahead and use this for the sides of this page because I think it matches beautifully. And I'm just going to go as long, you can take it all the way up the page. I'm just going to take it as long as that pocket is. I'm going to go ahead and trim it off, and then we're going to stitch it up. Now, what you want to do is change your thread in your machine to be this brown color. I'm not going to do that because I want you to see my stitches. So I'm just going to move this over to the edge, and we're going to stitch it straight down. And the other pocket, I think we'll use a zigzag so you can see the difference. And I am using a stitch length of 3.5. When I sew, I usually use a 2 or 2.5, 2.5 most often. And then we're just going to cut these threads off. And I have the beautiful edging for that pocket sealed on the ends, and this beautiful tuck can be used as well to just tuck things in there. So what do I mean by tuck? Well, we open it up and I can just stick a ticket or an item in there, and it's going to hold on to it because it's a tuck. Now, will it hold forever? It's not a pocket, but it's a beautiful tuck. So you can take things and stick them in there for journaling on or looking at. So we have the one side done. Let's go ahead and sew the other one, and we're going to use a zigzag stitch on this side. So let's go ahead and measure off how much we want. Now you can be as precise as you want on these. I tend to be a little bit quicker when I'm on video because I want to be respectful of your time and not have a lot of time wasted with the precision that I would do if I was doing a junk journal specifically for someone. So now I'm turning it over to a zigzag stitch. I'm turning my width up to a 6, my length down to about a 2.7, looks like. And we're just going to zigzag this down. Again, I would have changed my thread to brown so you wouldn't see my stitches, or you may want them the dominant color of the junk journal. I would not want the one side green. I think the pink actually came out well because we have a pink butterfly near. This side just the same. You can use it as a tuck space. It has the bottom sealed. It has the one side sealed. So 2 sides are sealed. The other is not. So we can just pop that in there. And then we have it zigzagged on the other side, so we have a perfect pocket. And again, see how the green really shows up? So I probably would not use the green thread, I would use the brown thread. But this is a beautiful way to go ahead and create quick junk journal pages that are using the 8.5 by 11 size, but I'm actually using a 12 by 12. Now, this page will stick out because again, it's not the 11.5, which works out to be what? 5.5 plus a quarter, 5 3/4. So it's a little bit longer. So if you want, what you could do is tear down this edge to be a little bit shorter if you don't want it larger than the other pages, or when you have a lot of bulk inside, the distance between the two really disappears. So you turn out to have a junk journal with different lengths of pages if you don't tear off the 12 by 12. It still looks beautiful. It's your option. It's your junk journal. You want to do what pleases you. I like the different sizes. I like some straight. I like some cut. I like some torn. I like some done with the fancy scissors. Now, we are looking at another 12 by 12, and this one we can simply rip off. I like to rip it from the back going down because I get that two-tone with the white in the center and the pink, kind of that beautiful rough hewn edges. And we're just going to tear down this side, and we're going to tear down the other side, and then we will fold it up with a pocket. So again, I didn't have to go the whole way, but I like to. Because if I'm tearing it down, I might as well tear it down the whole way. Now these tiny bits of paper we can put in a canister. I have a jar where very soon now, because I've been promising for about 6 months, we're going to make some paper. And when I make paper, it's usually a good 3 to 7 day process, depending upon how much paper I am creating. Now I don't need to tear off the top for size. I'm just doing it for look and effect. So again, go ahead and tear down that scrapbook cardstock page with that two-tone beautiful look. And then we're going to turn up the pocket on the opposite side, giving some pop and color on this other side. If we wanted to, we could look for height by using another paper. Or we can do it roughly because again, I like my pages to be slightly different colors. Now look how absolutely gorgeous this one is. And you may have caught, you may have not caught that I didn't need to tear this down here because we lose a lot of that if we're going to put something on the edge, which I like to have different ribbons and different textures throughout. Ooh, boy, toss up between those two. Different textures but in my junk journals. So these scraps, again, they're going into a gallon jar that I have. I'm collecting to make paper. And then let's get a relatively calm tag. It clashes a little bit, doesn't it? So maybe we can't use a calm one. Let's get a pink one with hearts. I don't know. So we'll have to look for a tag that we're happy with the colors. Don't know if I want to use my brown, but we can. And then let's go ahead and sew this on. Again, I would change my thread over to a white or to a pink. Look how beautiful that cardstock is. I mean, truly, it just does it so beautifully. And these things often collect threads. Pull off any threads that you have. And then I'm going to flip my sewing machine back over to a straight stitch. So I'm turning my width down to 0, back to a straight stitch, back up to a 3.5. And again, I might be a little bit slower or a little bit more precise if I were doing this for a specific person. But that's why when I sell in person, I ask everybody who's interested in my junk journals, flip through them, make sure you love them, make sure you're happy with them before you leave my table. All right, so we have that beautiful texture on the side. It also works as a bookmark, if you will. You know exactly where that page is when it's in a junk journal. So that's absolutely wonderful. And we are just pulling out more threads. So I'll trim those off. So we have that on one side. We can add some more. We can add hearts. We can add anything you want. We can even just throw a bunch in the pockets. Okay, so maybe I'll put it up here. I don't have my stapler here at the desk, but I feel like it would be neat to just take a couple of these, staple them on top of each other. Maybe grab your stapler, grab a couple of these hearts, and on both sides, just staple those together, and you would have a beautiful little hidey spot for little notes. Wouldn't that be so cute? I think that would be adorable. So that's what I'd like to do on that page. Don't have my stapler here, so just for the beautiful looks, let's go ahead and glue one down. On each side, we can always come back and use the stapler to add a couple of hearts on top of them. And again, whether you find your little hidey spot in the junk journal or not, it gives beautiful decoration, and it gives you the opportunity to put some thoughts and dreams that if somebody were to, if you shared your junk journal and somebody else picked it up, they wouldn't necessarily find that at quick look. So that's a nice place to hide them. I think the pink looks beautiful. I might get some more of that color and just affix a pocket over here, or maybe a belly band. Let's do a belly band. What on earth, Wendy, is a belly band? Well, a belly band is anything that goes across the belly of your page that can hold things in place. And this lace, just pulling it back into shape here. Seems loose in a lot of spots, so let's just pull it straight. All right, beautiful. Now, I can take this the whole way around and just give it a couple of stitches right at the bottom, right at the top to hold it be. And I think that's what I'm gonna do. So let's just leave a little bit out at the bottom so I'll have to pick up that, pick up that tag. But we have ourselves on a straight stitch, and I'm gonna bring it under the sewing machine. Just gonna go back and forth a couple of times, pull it out, trim my threads, come around to the top, and less stitches up top. And I have secured that belly band in place. Trim your threads, and then you can tuck things under that page. Now, it doesn't seem to hold it well now, but let's stick it together with a couple of other pages, and you will see exactly what I mean. So, grabbing these pages and stuffing this. So now we're opening up our new junk journal pages that we're just created in just that amount of time. And I'm not showing it in this video, but I also like to tea stain and coffee dye a lot of my pages so that you can see a more aged, beautiful look. Now you can put things in here and you can hold them. You can do another stitch in the center, or what I like to do is I'll take a card. I don't have a card with me. Shucks, I should have brought a card to the table. But I'll take a card, which again, a card is simply folded over. Of course, it's usually this big that I do. And then you can just put it in here, and a card has been sealed for a long time. So it's a belly band, and it holds things into place. And over on this side, we can even put things in the pocket. We can put things behind the belly band and hold them in there. So again, beautiful. I have a lot of pockets in this one now because we've used 3 of the cardstock pieces. So I'd put at least another 3 pieces, probably another magazine sheet. And I would use, and let's sew this up real quick because we didn't do that. I would also use some of my tea stained and coffee stained papers. I'll do another tutorial for you real soon. I have some papers that are already ready to go into a junk journal. So I will show you those soon. And then we'll do another tea staining, coffee dyeing session soon. But as of right now, go ahead and look in the history of Where Wendy Travels, Where Wendy Creates, and you will see me creating these bands, doing a lot more junk journals, and how I bind them and put them together into a book form and do the covers. The covers are wonderful. This size, I can actually do a manila folder for a cover, and that works out very, very well. So I hope you've enjoyed what we've done today. I'll just show you a couple of more pages. Again, the pockets. This one I used tape. I was in a hotel. I did not have my glue. I did not have my stapler. So I bought a 99-cent pack of tape with my cardstock, and I just made my papers. I made my belly band here. So that's also a nice way you can use is tape, and it works perfect. It's very functional. Just some sheets of paper torn and put in here, scalloped edges. This, if you have any old paper with design around it, absolutely perfect for a junk journal. And then another sheet of cardstock that is trimmed down, folded up, and again, tape was used because we made those in a hotel room. So check back in my history. You'll see my video on how I do these different pages and make the different junk journals. So now we can go ahead and sew on the different textures and decide. I think this one looks absolutely beautiful for this page. So again, keep sewing, keep creating, keep crafting. I hope this has helped, given you a little bit of things to think about and create beautiful art. And again, this is one of my tea stain, coffee stain. You see the coffee cup was set on it several times. Just use your paper as your platform and have fun, my friends. Absolutely. So many, many different ways to make scrapbook pages come to life and have so much style and beauty. Have a great day, my friends. Thank you. Bye.